People always do better with real food, and the shakes and the bars can contribute to over-consuming calories, poor digestion, blood sugar imbalances, exacerbate hunger and cravings. And I think part of it has to do with the fact that they're so quickly digested and absorbed. Welcome to the show where we help you make smart nutrition simple. If you want proven nutrition strategies to help you build a better body and create the energy to show up for your family without overly restrictive and unrealistic dieting, then you're in the right place. Make sure to subscribe and enjoy this episode. What is going on? Welcome back to another episode of the Smart Nutrition Made Simple show. I'm your host, Ben Brown, owner and head coach here at Body Systems. If this is your first episode listening, super excited to have you here. Grateful to have you taking time out of your day, whether you're in the car, on a walk, in the office, trying to ignore work, whatever it might be. I appreciate you having me in your ears for just a few minutes here. I'm excited to be able to provide some value for you if you've been listening for any extended period of time. I'm grateful to have you back and hopefully have been able to offer some value through these episodes, and more importantly, some application, giving you the tools to be able to apply these principles into your life and hopefully make this whole crazy nutrition and fitness world a lot easier to understand. That is my objective here. And so today we're doing another Q&A episode where I'm answering questions that have been submitted by our listeners. And so in today's podcast, I'm going to be discussing what is better, protein bars or protein shakes, my opinion on high protein desserts, junk foods, high protein junk foods, or high protein frankenfoods. We're going to talk about snacks and some easy to make and quick high protein food choices, as well as we're going to talk about why, if weight loss is so simple, then why is it still so seemingly challenging to make progress? So we're going to cover all of that in today's episode. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in. So what's better, protein bars or protein shakes? And I think that it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. And it's like, what are we trying to accomplish? What's the problem that we're trying to solve here? If it's simply a supplemental meal source, calorie source that we're trying to use to get through the day, get through a trip, help create some satiety, help us fill in some gaps with our calorie needs for that day, then I don't think it really matters that much. If it's something that we're consistently using, and it's something that you enjoy and you're seeing progress, then do whatever you want to do that you enjoy, that's helping you make the progress. Generally speaking, I think that the less that we rely on bars and shakes, and the more we develop the skills to learn how to eat more food more consistently throughout the day, the better our results are going to be long term, to the degree that we're not relying on either bars nor shakes to fill in those calorie gaps, and instead identify, well, why are those calorie gaps happening in the first place? What we often observe in our coaching program is that in the initial stages of the program, because we have aggressive protein needs and demands and want to help people develop the skills to get more protein as quickly as possible because of the importance over the long-term body composition change, a lot of people do start to rely on bars and shakes or protein drinks in order to fill those gaps. And that's fine, but it's all part of the process of just starting to learn their body, become their own best nutrition detective, and ultimately, again, develop the skills to know, okay, here's how I plan throughout the day. Here's how I cook and prepare the foods that I enjoy, that make me feel good, that help keep me satiated, and then, of course, are contributing toward the results that I want to see. Again, just generally speaking, most bars and shakes on the market have a lot of sugar, again, generally speaking, have a lot of sugar, have a lot of ingredients in them. That doesn't necessarily make them bad per se. Again, I think it's very contextual, but I also, in my experience and in my observations, people always do better with real food. And the shakes and the bars can contribute to over consuming calories. They can contribute to poor digestion. They can exacerbate hunger and cravings, specifically for more sweet things. They can contribute to blood sugar imbalances. And I think part of it has to do with the fact that they're so quickly digested and absorbed, specifically protein shakes, especially the way in which we slug them down, is we're completely bypassing the digestion process. And it's important to remember that digestion begins up here. Like if I'm just starting to think about consuming a meal, if I'm thinking about eating a steak, well, then my brain's sending signals to my gut to facilitate hormonal responses that's getting me now to start salivating. And those salivary enzymes are going to start to incorporate so that when I do start eating the food and masticating and actually chewing the food and breaking it down and allowing the digestive juices in my mouth, in my stomach, the hydrochloric acid in the stomach to start to break down those proteins and those amino acids, and then, of course, to be able to absorb and assimilate the nutrients. But when we do a shake, whether it's a pre-made shake or even a smoothie where we're blending up, all of these different maybe fruits or vegetables or protein powders, again, because we're drinking it so fast usually, or we're distracted or we're on the go, a lot of times we're bypassing this digestive process. And I think for a lot of people, that in and of itself can be problematic. I think it can contribute to gut issues down the road. Again, depending on the person, their history, their existing gut health, right? So much so that the more we can start to rely on real food to get us through, and most importantly, the skills and behaviors that will allow us to eat more real food more consistently, which is the name of the game, the more successful we're going to be. My opinion on high protein desserts, high protein junk foods, high protein snacks is that we're going to be much better served eating more real food. And while it can be, just like bars and shakes, it can be a relatively easy and tasty way to fill some nutritional gaps, it's definitely not a panacea. And shooting for protein chips or protein pancakes or high protein, low net carb desserts, like I love the fact that it's easier now, more so now than ever, to get in the protein, if you will, but it's also making things more complex because it's taking people more out of the realm of actually eating whole real food. And as I've talked about before, is also understanding what it actually takes to eat more real food more consistently. Right? So much so that I think someone can easily get through a day and hit their protein goals, but it's based on I had a protein shake, and then I had a high protein Greek yogurt, and then I had protein chips, and and then whatever high protein something else. None of it was actual real food: steak, chicken, fish, legumes, even fibrous vegetables that have a little bit of protein in them, and so while it's certainly convenient, I don't think it's in most people's best interest, nor do I think people respond as well as they could should they actually take the time to incorporate more real foods. Easy to make, quick, high protein foods are real food: animal protein, steak, chicken, fish, pork. It could be literally anything that you enjoy eating that might be pre-cooked. You might cook it right then and there. It could even be canned chicken, canned tuna, canned salmon, packaged, tuna as an example. It could be shrimp. It could be beef protein, like beef jerky or beef sticks or cottage cheese or Greek yogurt or eggs. And so literally any of those, it could be, and even whey protein is fine, right, within reason. And so any of those can be utilized. People want quick solutions, but it's not about having quick solutions. It's about doing the work ahead of time to make sure that you have food available so that when you are in a hurry, you can consume it. And it's easy to acquire, right? Because if it's relying on a bag of high protein chips or a protein shake, then you didn't do your diligence around planning and preparing appropriately. And so I think it's shifting the mindset around, well, I don't have time to make the meals that are going to allow me to get enough protein is bullshit. And instead, it's like, no, you likely do have the time, you just haven't made it a priority, in which case, listen, you're eating these foods anyways. Like you're likely eating chicken already, you're likely eating steak or ground beef or fish, in which case, why don't you just make more when you are preparing it, or learn how to prepare it a couple different ways, cook extras so that you've got it available in the refrigerator, and then take it with you on the go if and when you need it, or so that it's available during those situations when you need a quick snack. Of course, you can go with deli meats, you can go with string cheeses, so there's plenty of options available. But at the end of the day, it really begs the question of like, how are you setting yourself up for success? To the degree that you're able to make those decisions on the fly. If weight loss is so simple, then why is it so hard? It's so hard because it's not about calories and exercise. It's about what's happening between the ears. It's about changing your mindset and your commitment to what it is that you say that you want in your life. Because if it were as simple as just relying on the nutrition plan, the meal plan, the exercise program, then no one would be listening to this. We wouldn't be having this conversation. I would be out of business. And obviously, it's much more complex than the latest diet trend, fad, or exercise program, to the degree that what it's actually about is teaching someone how to create a new identity. It's teaching someone how to live into what it is that they want in their life and become a different person and develop the behaviors, the skills, and the tools that's going to allow them to transform into that person, to be able to envision what they want their life to look like. And again, what behaviors will be reflected through the process. So much so that they fall in love with the process. They actually fall in love with eating foods that make them feel good, that give them good energy, that help support their body composition, that they know how to plan and prepare and enjoy preparing on their own. They start to enjoy eating at home more and stop eating out so much. They know they feel better when they stop drinking alcohol. They learn to find so much value in the exercise process and how they feel when they exercise, and enjoying the progress that comes from continually challenging themselves in the gym. It comes from the types of people that we surround ourselves with, and embracing the fact that who they were before and the people that they surrounded themselves with before might have actually been keeping them playing small and keeping them stuck. And instead, it's who they can surround themselves with in the future that are actually going to lift them up and provide the level of support that they know that they need in their life to be able to continue to reinforce the behaviors that they're developing. And so that's a much harder sell than just eat these foods, just do these exercises, and you'll lose, this amount of weight. No one wants to hear that because it's very scary to come to the realization that we need to separate from who we were before and lean into who it is that we're becoming because of that identity shift and because what it means for everything that we've identified with before. What it means that we need to overcome the stories that we were telling ourselves before about who it is we are, who we serve, the type of person that, we are, and instead get really, really uncomfortable about, again, what do we and who do we want to become through the process? Well, there you have it. That's it for this episode of the Smart Nutrition Made Simple show. If you have questions that you'd like us to tackle in an upcoming episode, then we can't wait to hear from you. So you can submit your questions directly by just messaging us on our social media. That's at Body Systems Coaching, or you can just message me personally, ben@bodysystems.com. Appreciate you guys listening, and I will catch you in the next episode. Thank you so much for listening, and if you found this content valuable, here are 4 ways I can help you in your nutrition journey for free. 1. Grab a free copy of my Fat Loss Fix Guide at fatlossfixguide.com. 2. Join my free group at smartnutritionmadesimple.com. 3. Subscribe to my YouTube channel at smartnutritionmadesimpletv.com. 4. Leave a 5-star rating and positive review so that we can gain access to more nutrition experts ready to share their knowledge with you and ultimately help more people make smart nutrition simple.